Yes.
Can you skip through the real basic side control skates? Just variations on side control skates.
Okay. So for side control escapes, the thing is, Dan, let me borrow you have to be aware, and I'll use Dan on the bottom. You have to be aware of where the arms are at. Okay. For the toppers and for the bottom, you got to make sure that you understand where your arms are going, because his arm could be in front, his arm could be in the back, which is no good, okay? And the knee arm has to frame the hip, okay? So you got to make sure that you're framing so that your hips can move. The objective really is to frame so that you can move your hips, and then you got to combine movement. Side control is not escape. It's one of like three things. It's either you recovering more so. It's either you recovering a half guard potentially getting an underhook, possibly getting a full guard if you're going for a half guard. You know, which I would prefer a half guard, but the full guard's there. Or possibly, you know, you shoot an underhook and you're able to kind of do escape and, you know, go to your knees and so forth. Okay, but I think fundamentally. Okay, what we need to do here, understand? Okay, is this, you guys have to understand the importance of framing, okay? This elbow has to be framing his hip, okay? Never with your hand, because that's how you get really wrist lock and you don't have any power. Your wrist is like one of the weakest parts of your whole body, and you need to frame. When you frame, it's typically with this part just below your elbow. So this would be above towards the shoulder, this would be below, right here. And I'm framing this hip out, okay? And you could even kind of twist it. The head, I wanna frame it out this way. So I wanna make it uncomfortable for him to be on top of me, so that now my hips can actually move and my knee can come inside, and I can begin to create some sort of an open guard situation, okay? Because from here, maybe I'll be able to put in a hook or something, you know, to the butterfly or something, or a half guard, but my hips are able to move away. Because it's until I move, meaning that until I frame here, and oftentimes what you gotta keep your shoulders kind of crunched, and I need to be able to move, and make it uncomfortable for him. Because this way now I can move my hips where they go. Here, okay, I got possibly an underhook. I'm able to possibly even get a lasso like Jerry likes, okay? But from here, I already have an open guard. I'm not in a side control anymore. The key is this. So if my arm is out, I have to retract my arm and get my elbow in. I walk my hip in, and I'm able to frame the hip. You need to frame the hip or his thigh. Okay, we'll take this over. You need to frame his hip so it makes it more difficult for him to walk around your head. Okay, so as he's walking, I'm also moving, because here I'm able to potentially now get an underhook, bump him with the knee, and now begin to create an escape with that, and maybe go here or whatever the case may be. Get him in a half guard underhook. Okay, the framing is key. So, here. If your elbow's cut out, that's a big problem for you, okay? The key is to retract this elbow. You walk your hips in, retract it, and then you frame his hip. This arm frames hip and thigh, okay? Because if he begins to try to walk around, I can frame his thigh right here, okay? And from here, look, I can frame and begin to fight for a better position. I potentially have an underhook here, and I'm still framing his far knee thigh, because if I bump him forward, I want to be able to control this here, whether I go up and out, or potentially if he puts weight back on me, I have kind of a reversal sweep. Okay, so everything starts off with framing. Okay, you're framing this out and framing this out right here. I want to push his head down towards my left knee right here. So this frame right here now enables me to move my hips and get my right elbow and right knee reconnected right here. From here, you potentially have a taxi. He'll pull his arm back, okay? And now you have an open guard, and now you're able to begin to play something that's a lot different than being just a bottom side control. But the key is this. So before he drops his weight down, because here my hand is collapsed, okay? If my hand is like an alligator mouth and he collapses it here, he's got a good control. So probably I'll take it out here and begin to start moving away with that kind of, what do you call it, thigh grip, as Master Carlos calls it, the Bruce Lee type right here, control, where your left hand's grabbing the inner thigh. But ideally, I want to be here before he drops his weight, and I want to spread it, his head and hip right here. Because when I'm here, my feet can walk away and I'll turn onto my side, okay? So before your hips move, so I'm here, okay? So I'm not letting him bring my hand and shoulder up, because now I'm all weak, like an alligator mouth that just shut. Here you'd have to kind of go here, maybe move his head here, and then begin to create space a different way. But for this basic, here, and I tuck my chin, roll up on his forearm right here, and now look, before I turn to my side, look from here, I can turn here, not enough, look. You walk your feet out, and then move your hip away. There's nothing is stopping me right here, okay, from walking my feet away, and then turning on my hip. Creates a lot more space versus what everybody does at the beginning stage is this. And then you're like, oh, and everything's collapsing. Frame, structure. Here. Okay, so try that. Framed, and you're spreading. Okay, 1, 2, 3.